keep on rising to the top. Ragamuffin keeps striving in every way. International, what they call we international. When me ride palm rhythm in the move, but the rhythm and I come down crucial. And me ride palm rhythm and then we sit down steady. Body me on the place, I with the one Jamalski. Jump up on the rhythm, make we ride it right. Chat up on the mic and keep it international. Cause anytime we chop a mic, they call we give it a general. When me ride palm rhythm in the move, but the rhythm and I come down crucial. And me ride palm rhythm and then we sit down steady. Body me on the place, I with the one Jamalski.
Yes. What is up, everybody? Producers, friends. Joshua Casper here with Plugin Boutique. Got another incredible dev stream lined up for you today. Ooh, I got a few announcements. Just wanna shoot them out there for you before we bring in the guest. First of all, if you didn't see, Scalar 2.9 just got updated. Free update if you already have Scalar 2. Lots of cool new features. I already posted a video about it. But on top of that, we will be doing a live stream, David Carbone takeover tonight. So another stream, double header today. That stream will go live at 10 p.m. UK time. That's in about 5 hours from now, so I don't know where you are, but do tune in. David's always a blast when he comes over and takes over the stream. He will go through all of the new features in 2.9, making a tune out of them and answering your questions along the way, and perhaps doing a little giveaway. Speaking of giveaways, we will be doing a giveaway today, courtesy of Dawesome. And to enter to win, all you need to do is be active in the chat and be a lovely person. You can be asking questions, asking great questions, answering questions you have answers for, or just being a lovely person. That's all we ask. That's pretty much it for housekeeping. So with that, join me in welcoming my guest today, Peter. Peter, how are you?
I'm good. Hello.
Thank you so much for coming on the stream today. Very excited to check out this new synth. Before we do that, though, for people who might not know, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your role at Dawesome, and what we can expect for the stream today?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Peter, and my role in Dawesome is pretty easy to explain because I'm more or less the only person within Dawesome. So I'm the one who is creating the ideas for the plugins. I'm doing the development. I'm doing the UI design. I'm doing the almost everything.
Oh, wow.
sound design, I usually work with professional sound designers, and recently just the sound designer Data Bros has joined me and right now works half-time for Dawesome. Yeah.
Well, that's incredible. So we actually have a legit dev stream today because you are the developer. Very excited. What are we going to be checking out today specifically?
Yeah, so there's a new synthesizer. It is called MPE, and today I would like to explain a little bit what it is and what it not is. I would like to play a few of the presets so that you can get an impression of what kind of sounds you can expect. And even more, because this is an instrument made for musicians in the first place, I would like to go a little bit into detail how easy it is to create your own sounds using this instrument.
Okay, I love that. Well, what we'll do is we'll flip over to your DAW so we can jump right into that. And as we're doing that, everybody, if you have any questions for Peter about this incredible synth and the incredible work he does with Dawesome, just at Plugin Boutique, and we'll try to get them answered by the developer right here on the stream today. All right, Peter, we are checking out MPE right now. It looks absolutely phenomenal, but what's it sound like?
Yeah. So I'm not the best keyboard player in the world, and you can see what I play here in the lower part. So I'm not going to play a lot, but you should hear a little bit. So you see a lot of things are going on in the user interface, and I'm going to explain why that is and why it is actually helpful and more than just a gimmick. I will explain a little bit later. I have selected a few presets that I would like to maybe demonstrate today.
Absolutely.
So it can do this kind of classical sounds. It is fully MPE capable, but you can also play it with any other controller. But it is not limited to that kind of, let's say, vintage sounds. It can also do kind of metallic textures.
All sorts of ear candy in there. I love it.
Yeah, and I think, I'm going to come to that later. There are usually a couple of macros that you can also use. And so one of the things that are very easy within MPE is to create this kind of sequences where a lot of things are going on without the necessity to program tons of LFOs. I will show that later. So this is right now me playing one key.
Oh, really?
You You can see it in the, here's
Yep.
a display of what I'm doing. It can also do kind of and it is actually quite fun to do these kind of sounds.
Hey, Peter.
Yeah.
Your webcam is shut off for some reason. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, me neither. Let me check. It is connected. Let me check here.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the. There it is.
There, I'm back.
Yep.
I don't know what happened.
It's all right. It's the energy.
Yeah, maybe.
It's the dark energy.
It must be.
Oh, that was
Okay.
gnarly.
So for everything ambient, spacey, pad-like, that's also extremely easy, and I will demonstrate it later, how you can take more or less any sample and with a few clicks create your own pad sound from it with a lot of organic details and ear candy.
Nice. I got a few questions coming in. If you want to play,
Yes.
maybe okay, we can knock them out now. One is regarding presets. Switch Games Time is wondering how many presets come with the stock build of the plugin.
Yeah, let's have a look. I don't know it by heart. So this is 700 something.
700 presets.
700 presets.
That's a lot of presets.
Yes, and they had been created by a lot of sound designers, about 20, maybe it was 18 or 19. I lost a little bit the overview. And so I didn't tell to the sound designers, please do this sound or that sound. So normally I told all of them, spend time with the instrument and then create what you believe is the best for this instrument, and which you also believe is the best for your art. Because in my perspective, a sound designer is like an artist, and I would like to give that kind of artistic freedom. And it's quite interesting because when you take these presets from one sound designer and then you switch to the next sound designer, you will see how different they are. And it is the same instrument, but it can be coming from an entirely different planet because they just use it in a different way. That's quite fascinating for me.
Absolutely. Can you import samples into it?
Yes and no.
Oh.
So maybe I can use this question to give a little bit of an overview what it actually is here and how it works.
Beautiful.
So to be clear, this is not a sampler. It is not like you have a sample and then you work from there. I have made a different instrument. It is called Novum. And give me a second. I will bring it up now. So Novum is a granular sampler, but with a special tweak. So here you import a sample, and then there's a machine learning which takes that sample and creates 6 layers from that sample. And afterwards, you can tweak these layers individually. So for example, each of these layers has an envelope and you can change the envelope. So you see it is right now changing here. Or you can change the timbre of that specific layer. And in that way, you can modify that sound to a large extent with a degree of freedom that is unprecedented in other synthesizers or samplers. And you also have that full granular playback where you can either, when you have that link button, have the grains play on all the 6 layers in the same way, or you can say, no, I would like to give individual configuration for each of the layers when you really have the desire to go that deep. So for everyone who is looking for a really advanced instrument where you take a sample and then work from there by modifying it, but you start with a sample and it plays back exactly as you imported, then Novum is the right instrument for you.
Yeah.
Having said that, going back to the instrument I would like to talk about today, it is quite a different beast, so to say. And that is, you use samples, but normally in a sampler or in a wavetable synth, you're doing it because you want to extract the timbre. You want to start with a timbre and work with a timbre. And there's a million instruments that are already doing it. But I thought there's a need for something different. And actually, my starting question was, why are people actually still buying synthesizers? There are so many great synthesizers, and some of them, for example, in the wavetable space, they're perfect. They can do everything that you would ever desire, but then still people buy new synths. And I was thinking, okay, why is it actually that that is so interesting? Why are people still looking for something new? And I believe it is because it is sometimes difficult to create something new from your samples. It is tedious because you need to do a lot of programming. You need to understand a lot about all that methods, all that lingo that is used, and that can take quite a time. And while it is rewarding, there's a lot of people who actually just want to make music, and they want to make music with their own unique sounds, but they don't want to spend days tweaking numbers.
Sure.
And so I was thinking, how should a synth look like where you don't have the necessity to type in that many numbers, where you don't need tons of LFOs and stuff like that? Okay, long story. Here you take a sample, but not to mainly extract the timbre of it. What you want to extract is all that organic, rich stuff which is in that sample. You would like to have the temporal evolution, but you want to have it detached from the timbre. And then you can use that temporal evolution and imprint it on something different. So you can bend it into a completely different direction. Okay, no one can understand what I'm saying, so I will simply demonstrate it. I'm starting now with an init preset, and let's take a simple sound here. It's not the most exciting sound. So, but well, yes, it's a sample. So, and now I have it here, but my keyboard is no longer working.
It's the curse of the stream.
Okay, so here I'm now. This is my sample, and the time axis is like a loop, and I can now go to different positions. And because the sample was not that interesting, also what I hear now is not so interesting. I can create an LFO. And now I have something which may be close to what I actually dropped in. But now I can use that kind of change that is happening here. And I have these transformers. So for example, I will speed it up a little bit. Then we can hear it better. always put a limiter on because you never know what's happening when you are doing sound design. So golden rule. So it's always the same temporal evolution, but you have heard that it sounds completely different. So let's take something different. So I took a text-to-speech to prepare for the session, and let's see how it sounds.
Plugin Boutique.
Nice. Shout out Plugin Boutique.
Yeah. Okay. And now let's see. Okay, I have all these modifications here, so I need to bring them down again and find the right pitch. So here we are. Roughly, this is what it was, but that's not the point. The point is that right now I here also have that visualization that there is something going on. And right now I would like to exploit it and create something different. So first of all, maybe I would like to slow it down and make it more metallic.
Peter.
Yeah.
What are so you got like the icons that actually animate as you adjust them on the like top row there. What's the difference between that and the bottom row where it's just like dots?
So actually they behave quite the same. These these four here are belonging together because they are doing FM synthesis. But usually when people hear FM synthesis, they are getting kind of scared and say, ooh, this is a thing with the algorithms and that operators and that hundreds of LFOs and ooh. But here it is that easy because you just say, okay, I want to have the sound of FM imprinted. And that is what you can do here. And you have a few of the, it's more like you do with a filter where you set the cutoff and the resonance, and that way you can hear right now do the FM synthesis just by using, you don't need LFOs, they are already in your material. And right now you put them to the FM. So it sounds like FM synthesis, but there are no algorithms. There is no carrier and modulator and all that stuff. So these are that four here. That one is just for that playback position. And then there are here additional transformers, and each of these has a different sound. So for example, when you take the yellow one, it will take whatever it gets and tries to make it a little bit more like a sawtooth. It is not adding a sawtooth. It is taking the waveform and says, I'm putting magnets onto the waveform so that the waveform has to become that, to get to that shape of a sawtooth. But as you hear, it is quite organic because all that organic stuff that was inside that original sample, it is maintained. But right now, with that weird FM part and that weird bending towards the sawtooth. And then this one, for example, sounds a little bit like the oscillator sync. And the nice thing is, all these parameters here can right now be modulated. So for example, you can say, Oh, I like that one. So I simply assign it to pressure. So here I'm having a keyboard which is pressure sensitive. And right now I can, by having more pressure or less pressure, I can influence that one. And that makes it so easy. Still, I haven't created anything, but I already have something extremely organic. And then, of course, I can do that, all that classical stuff. And that is here in the lower part. So this one is called the iris. These are the transformers, and then the signal is fed in to additional stuff that I can give for each of the oscillators. So for example, I want to sweeten the sound a little bit. So let's hear it in comparison. Also make it drunk. Okay, and I think a low pass filter would be nice. Maybe with a bit more dirt and resonance. And so, for example, right now, I'd like to modulate also the cutoff. And let's say I have, this is an MPE keyboard. I also have slide. So I simply do it like this. If I slide now, I can play that. Yeah, and of course, there is a lot of FX that you have seen. There's tons of stuff that you can add for each of the oscillators. And then there's an FX section where you also have things like reverb, where you have a shimmer. There's some granular glitter that can be added and so on.
What's clouds? You had another one too that had a unique name.
Clouds is a specific reverb which is not trying to be a room. It is for that big ambient spaces. So when you want to have it that huge rooms, endless tails, then this is your man.
And that's still the plugin boutique voice, right?
Yes, it is. This is still, we were going from this
plugin boutique, plugin boutique,
and
plugin boutique.
Of course, this is probably right now not a perfect sound because I had no direction and I just wanted to show a couple of things. But you see how easy it is. And you see, I have that one LFO, and that is just the one which is making that position. I can even remove that and say I want to have that position also done with pressure. And here are these breaks, and that doesn't sound good. So I smooth out right now these envelopes. So I have a very organic. Maybe we can also add a touch of bass. So there was no need to program an ADSR. Okay, here's one for the gain. So let's turn it into a pad sound, maybe. Give it a bit of release, a little bit slower. But it is rich, it has a texture, it is organic. And the sound has nothing to do with the original sample, because this is not a sample player. This is something where you steal the temporal evolution, where you steal that organic imprint which is in the sample, and then you use that to create your own stuff. And there you can go wild, because here you have all these transformers you have additional capabilities with by adding more modules, and there you can get crazy and you can use this like tone colors. So you it's very intuitive, because after some time, when you see this iris, you already know how is it going to sound. You see, okay, it has that violet and blue, so it's that metallic, soft character, which is quite different from something which would look like this, which is far more aggressive, or like this, which is going to be kind of noisy. Yeah, that's in a nutshell the long and winded answer to the question, can I use samples?
Well, some other people are asking about maybe genre-specific presets and presets in general, if you wanted to maybe play a few more of some of your favorites of the over 700 that come with it.
Yeah, I can do.
While you're doing that, Switch Games Time is wondering if you're using an MPE controller. Yes, he is. And
Sorry.
Peter, no, it's perfectly fine. We every single stream we get it. So just to get it out of the way now, can you talk to us about CPU usage and the synth?
Yes. So, to put it like that, it has that semi-modular concept where you don't have cables, but you can use these things as a pedal board. So you can have additional modules, and these are simply changed or chained always with a signal flow from left to right. And you have one for, let's say, MIDI effects. You have two for the oscillators. You have one for filter section, which is then for the entire voice, and you have two for the FX. The same is for each of the modulation sources, and you can have up to 10, 15 or whatever. And then for each of these, you can have modules which act on the modulation signal. So you can go pretty wild. And of course, if you create a preset where you say, okay, I put everything in what I have, tons of filters, tons of effects, tons of everything. And then I use the polyphony of 24. I think you are going to need to have a very modern computer to handle that. On the other hand, I spent quite a time to optimize things. And in my group of beta users, we have a couple of people who have the task to always check that it also works good enough on old hardware. One way is to limit the polyphony. Right now, this is stored with the preset, but in an update, which is going to come very soon, there's going to be a lock, so that if you say, well, I have a very old system, maybe it's a laptop, and it's already 10 years old, you can set the polyphony to a reasonable number, put that lock symbol on, and then you should be fine to do. The good thing is you don't need to worry about that question before you consider to purchase a synth, because it is offered with a 90 days free trial. So you can download it
90 days
via traction.com, and then you have 90 days of a free trial without any restriction. You can save, you can use everything. The only thing that you need to do is, once you have installed it, you need to once put in your traction credentials to start the trial. And there's no noise, no nothing for 90 days. So give it a try. And I have I have a wish. If you experience unusual high CPU performance, please reach out to me. You can reach me via my email, via my website, via the Traction website, or via my Discord. Because if so, let's say you have a Apple Silicon computer and you say, damn, no matter what I do, something is wrong and it doesn't play, then probably there is a bug or whatever. And that can happen. I have something like 40 beta users in my beta user group, but we can't cover the entire range of hardware and combinations with controllers, ASIO drivers, DAWs, and whatever. So if there's an issue, instead of just concluding, oh, there's a CPU issue, please reach out to me and I will see what we can do about it.
Nice. Very nice of you. I mean, I think a 90-day trial speaks to, you're just essentially saying, yeah, this is awesome, and if you download it, you're going to love it. I mean, that's really great. Love it.
Yeah, and even I know that there's I know how it was when I was a little bit younger. I simply had not the money to purchase all the synths that I wanted to have. Here you can simply use it at least for 90 days. You can create music with it. You can make samples with it. Even if you don't have the intent to ever purchase it, that's perfectly fine with me. If you have fun with it for 90 days and you say, whoa, damn, that was a good time during the 90 days, but I don't want to purchase it, that's fine. You don't need to feel bad about that. Just give it a try and see if it speaks to you.
Absolutely. I kind of got you off the track of playing some more presets. So by all means, if you want to let it sing for a second.
I will try. I am not sure whether I have made too many changes to this one, so I better reload it. This is me again playing only one finger. By the way, Ryan, for the question on CPU, this is an Apple computer with an M1 Pro, I guess. And it's that one right now is about 33% CPU, but I also have all that streaming of the screen, of the camera, of the two audios from the mic and from the DAW. So at least on this machine, it's reasonable.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Give me a second. Yeah, it's for all these kind of textures where a lot of things are going on. That's quite easy, and I will demonstrate it a little bit later, how you can do it on your own and how you can use trash samples where you said, well, I am never ever going to make something meaningful from it, how you can use this and transform it to something beautiful as we just heard.
Love that.
I have apologized a little bit for the playing, but I have a little uncomfortable position here with all that streaming setup and so on.
That's my fault. I apologize.
No, it's mine. Okay. I hope the sound designers are not going to kill me after the stream because they may have the impression that I was not doing justice to their presets with my playing skills. But you see, I'm usually just playing one chord because I don't want to impress you with my keyboard skills. I want to show how does it sound. And you don't need to be a perfect keyboard player in order to create really nice sounds with this one. Maybe this is a good example because I said whenever you want to have these kind of rhythmic textures, that this is quite easy. And I would like to demonstrate it if I'm allowed. I will try to make it fast.
Of course you're allowed, my friend. I would just say, if I could, if you're just tuning in, welcome. We're here with Peter, the developer of Dawesome instruments and devices. They're absolutely phenomenal, truly unique, and sound amazing. If you've got any questions for Peter along the way, just at Plugin Boutique. We'll try to get an answer here on the stream. And we will be doing a giveaway at the end of the stream. And to be entered to win, all you need to do is be active in the chat, be a positive force for good. Ask good questions, answer questions you have answers for, and just be a cool person. Other than that, by all means, I will allow you now to to do that part. Yeah.
Okay, so I will just do it again. So here's a drum loop. And you can take anything which is basically like noise and has a little bit of transience in it. I import it now, and you will see this is not a sample player. I'd like to reiterate it so that there is no mistake. I assign an LFO, which is just moving the playhead. And you will hear right now that it is not playing back the drum loop like it sounded before, but it maintained the temporal evolution. And right now it is tonal.
Sounds good, though.
Yeah, wait. It will sound better soon. I need to put on the limiter, sorry. Okay, that would be boring if the story would end here. So let's see what we can do with it. There's another thing how you can use samples, and that is here's a resonator. You can choose from a variety of resonances. Let's take that one, for example. And right now I'm feeding what we just heard through that resonator. And I'm going to make that resonator track my keyboard. So when I play a higher key note, then it is also increasing the resonances. So let's hear what. I can change the pitch of the resonator. And in order to, so what's happening is right now, we no longer hear that original signal. It may bleed through depending on how I set this one here. But actually this acts as an exciter for the resonator. And when we change right now with the transformers, it is putting a different excitation signal into the resonator. And this is, so let's simply try, because this is what this instrument is about, exploration. Just try what. Okay, so there's a lot of possibilities that I have right now, but I can also simply change the resonator. I like this one. So now I have still the temporal structure of my loop. I have maintained that beat, but I have created it into something that I can play tonally. So let's adjust the ADSR or like an on-off thingy. But I can play chords now with my drum loop. A bit loud, sorry. And of course, I can do more things. One of my favorite really odd modules is orbit. You don't find it in many other places. It is coming from the idea of planetary motion, but I'm not going to explain it here.
You don't
what
want
it
to
does.
explain the movement of the bodies of rock floating around the solar system?
No, I don't want, not today. And also not how this can be exploited to alter sound, but I will demonstrate it, what it does. Hopefully, probably it sounds just fresh, I don't know.
That's
So
not what I expected.
I can now imprint this dark, brooding texture to it. And of course, I can change whatever. And for example, I could say, no, I want to have it first clean, but I would like to have it expressive. So I say, well, but if I press harder, well, then that thing should go wild. So let's see. First, I play soft, and then I increase the pressure. And I think it's a little bit fast. So let's make it. So, and why is it remarkable? It is remarkable because, first of all, that was a drum loop.
Right.
And we didn't do much to it. We did no programming. All that we did was adding a resonator and chose something. And people ask, how can I use samples? That's the second way how you can use the samples. So for example, here I have a sample of a handpan. And now I put it here on the resonator, and the resonator tries to grasp from that sample, oh, what are the resonances that I have in that sample? And then create that resonator. So let's try it. Okay, maybe I should go back to that speed. Sometimes it's good to try out an octave below, an octave higher. And another trick that someone figured out in our Discord, which is actually quite nice, is to put a second resonator with a very low amount, and there you don't have a track, like in a normal acoustic instrument. So for example, you have the strings in a violin, and they resonate because you are exciting them with a bow. But then there's also the corpus of the violin, and that doesn't change. And so that could be the second one. And let's try what happens if I use the same sample here. That's exploration. I have no clue. Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff. And then maybe you say, well, but I don't want to always add all these tons of modules. So what you also can do is, for example, have presets for that entire section. So this is one And now we can hear it with a preset. Let me remove that one. It's a little bit too tough. Let's try another one. So we have created something lush and beautiful.
That's wild.
Without any effort. And that's the entire idea. So it is not sample playback. It is something different. And the main idea behind it is to get rid of the need to do tons of stuff so that you can get movement into your sound, because otherwise your sound will just sound static. And here it doesn't. Here it will always sound rich and organic and textured, and there will always be something going on. And that's what it was designed for. And so it can be quite fun, but you need to let go and you need to open yourself for, I think the English word is serendipity. Is that correct?
Yep, that is.
Like for
yep.
lucky accidents, happy accidents. You know it better than me. Yeah.
No, you got it. You nailed it. Quite a few people have been wondering about the second iris there.
Yes. Okay. Everything that you can do with one iris, you can also do with the second one, and you can do whatever you want on that one. It is like in a 2 oscillator vintage analog synth where you have one oscillator and it is completely independent from the other. Here you have 2 of these things. So you have 2 irises that you can use, 2 sets of transformers, and then that one has also its own chain where you can say, oh, give me a little bit of effects that are working on that.
So effects 1 and 2 and oscillator 1 and 2 are referring to iris 1 and 2 as opposed to like...
No, oscillator 1 and 2, they refer to iris 1 and 2, that's correct. Then they feed into a filter section where you can again have tons of stuff. And this is per voice. So for example, here in the oscillator, if I want to add an OTT, this is not an OTT on the output, on the sum of everything. This is an OTT on the individual voice. So for example, if you make a bass sound, put an OTT on that individual voice and it's going to cut through everything. But then there is the FX sections 1 and 2. And this is after all the voices have been mixed together. So you play 10 notes, these 10 notes are mixed together, and then there is the FX. And you usually use it for things like reverb and delays and that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. You got? That's the modulation matrix there. I'm like, you've got an additional modulation, but that's just what you've already been doing with all the other tabs.
Exactly. This is just an overview, and you see, we created that complex sound, and that's all what's going on there, and that's what makes it a little bit different and so much fun to play with.
Do you have any like bass patches set up? Like bass presets?
So. Yeah, let's have a look. Okay, so maybe I can show that preset browser. So here you have the packs. Initially, there is a user, the factory, and tutorials. I will explain tutorials in a minute. Then they have subfolders. Here I made a subfolder for each of the sound designers. Then you can have the type, and so we are looking for bass ones. So we still have 111. So I can have other things to choose from. Whatever. I want to have an epic bass, so it's not that many. So let's have a look. Oh, yeah. May I, before okay, I play a couple. You can also have, of course, mono bass and then have that glissando if you like, or if you don't like, it has a glissando time. That's the usual stuff that you would expect. But we just heard that there's also that kind of let's say vintage sound like, and so let's also have a look like how this is going to work. So there's a very easy setup. And maybe I find it. So here I have a wave. I started again from the init preset. There I have a wave generator and a low pass filter. It's set to square here and 5 times unison. So let's listen. Sorry. It's my keyboard range is. I can add a second one. This is sawtooth. This is why it sounded so weird. And now I can add that low pass filter. There's a couple of models that you can choose from. The sound. So let's maybe make something with it. So I take a different, a little bit faster, pick an ADSR, modulate the cutoff with the ADSR. Let's adjust it. Okay, but now I think I could tweak it a little bit to perfection, but it sounds a little bit clean. And me personally, I like the dirty stuff. So let's take that plugin boutique sample that we had used before. And I will disable these. Just want to play through it. So we get quite some organic timbres here, but we don't want to use it as a timbre. The only thing that we want to do is to disturb that wave generators that we have here. So we added a little bit to the signal, and then we let the non-linearities in the filter play out. So it's a bit subtle right now. Subtle? I don't know how to
subtle.
pronounce
You
it.
said it, man. Come on. Do it great.
It's a little bit subtle, but that is also how it is supposed to be. And my point is, you can take right now nearly any sample, just put it on the right position where it sounds good, tweak a little bit these things, and then you use it to just put that little bit of dirt and organic stuff imprinted on your thing, and it will get that thing much more live. And then again, that's all. We needed that one thingy here, we have these two simple modules and a low-pass filter all on one page. There is no LFOs, no stuff, nothing going on. It's quite easy.
Peter, Jay Zaza has a question about the size of the download. I'm guessing it's got to be pretty small, right? Because you're not actually shipping with samples. You're shipping with like the information from the sample, right?
Exactly. To be honest, I don't know exactly, but I think it's probably in the range of maybe 100 megabytes.
Yeah.
Maybe it is 200 megabytes or 50, somewhere in that range. So it is a relative, it is not going to explode your hard disk because there are no samples. And that's also a question that I got asked in the past a couple of times. So I answer it, even though nobody asked it. The question that I get asked is, what happens to the sample like this one
Plugin Boutique.
if I put it here? And the point is, all that MUS is doing is it takes that sample, it does its machine learning thing, it derives a bunch of parameters, like a couple of thousands. So it puts it into a couple of thousand numbers, which is a model which then allows to apply all these FME and transformer stuff. And these numbers are stored. And the only other thing that is stored for your convenience is if you go over there with the mouse, you see that the name of the sample is shown in the bottom line. And that's all. The sample itself, it is not part of the preset. And so the presets are something like 20 kilobytes. So it's a small piece of information.
Nice.
And you never get into the situation where you created presets and you send it over to the composer, and then the composer says, oh, it doesn't open because it can't access the samples, blah, blah, blah. You don't have it here.
Awesome. Was there anything else you wanted to? I think you were going to mention something about the tutorials.
Yes. Okay. As I mentioned, this is an instrument that I created for musicians. So for people who mainly say, well, I want to make music. I love to tweak a sound and I want to use original sounds and I love to create a little bit, but I don't want to spend tons of time and programming. I was never good in maths. I don't want to do programming, whatever. So here are tutorials to get you started. This changes its color, and the tutorial system is quite easy. It is not like, oh no, I have to read 1,000 pages, and it is instead learning by doing. So a tutorial in the end is just a couple of presets. These are not counted when we talked about the 700 presets. This is separate ones. And each of the presets has a little bit of text and says, okay, here you're the tutorial, your job is to click next. Okay, that's I'm able to do. Okay, and then it explains you what you need to do. And then you say, okay, play a couple of notes and maybe use that one. And so you go just from one of these to the other. And then usually what we hear back from the users is, I wanted to do the tutorial, but I got lost already in the first one because I then spent 2 hours making music because I was getting carried away with the results that I had, and it was so much fun. So I need to go back to that tutorial at a later time. That you can do. And there, it has a starting tutorial. It has some. It explains everything which is in that synth, but it explains it not in a dry way. It shows you how you can actually do that. So you can do these things on your own. And at any time you can say, whoa, that sounds great. I just want to save it right now, or I want to make music with it. And then you go back to that tutorials at a later time.
Love that.
And I'd like to mention another thing, if I find it, open user guide. Let me put it here. I know no one likes to read user guides, and I can tell you, no one likes to write user guides. But
we got the stream checklist over there as well. We can see.
Oh, I close it. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought if I, anyways, need to spend the time to write the user guide, then I'm going to make it good. So this is how it looks like. It is very light to the eyes, and basically it is series of tips how you can use it. And I recommend first play with the synth, have fun, but then at one point of time, have a look and just get a little bit inspired by what you see here, and you will find some of the weirder modules. Let me check it out. What
That's impressive.
for example, this one. When you see that module in that synth like BTTF, then probably you say, "Oh, damn, what so what is BTTF?" But in the menu you will see, okay, it has something to do with Back to the Future or Back to the FM. It has a flux capacitor. It has controls like BIF and McFly. And go to the menu and you will understand why it is. Another one of the strange modules is Glurp. And it has Glurp and Glorp and Spill. And of course, this is an invitation for you to experiment with it. But you may just want to have a look to the user guide. Okay.
Fantastic. Love that. Was there anything else you wanted to share with everybody before we wrap up?
No, I think that's it. Maybe one little thing.
All right.
One thing that always had annoyed me was I usually use MPE controllers. I have the fantastic Osmose keyboard here. I have that Roly C board, but then sometimes you have presets and they are made with a normal controller, so everything is mapped to the mod wheel and to the expression pedal. And then I do the changes. It's not that much work. But then I switch to the next preset, and then I have to do it again. And that's kind of annoying.
Oh, kind of annoying. That sounds like a letdown. That'd be tough.
Yeah. But you usually have that. Or some synths offer it that they have every preset in two different flavors, one for the normal controller and one for the MPE controllers. But even the MPE controllers nowadays, there's quite a variety, and they vary wildly also in the way how you would like to use them. And so this is different in Mist because here you see there's that setup. And what it does is there are three dimensions called E1, E2, E3. That's for expressive dimensions. Usually E1 is going to be velocity. The second one is for whatever is that main intensity change of that preset, and then there's an additional change. And here, for example, it's for the keyboard, so it is using velocity, pressure, and slide. But I can also say, no, today I want to play it with the Osmose, but I want to have it in a different way, where the entire pressing down is one, and then I still have that mod wheel on the Osmose as a third one. Or I have my traditional one. Or I say, no, I don't have it on CC11. I always use CC44 for whatever reasons. So it's up to you. You store it once as your setup, like save. I could have changed the name, like Peter. And now I can save it under the name, and next time I can recall it here. And that thing is not part of the preset. I can right now go through all the presets, and they will always play. They're mapped right now to my controller. So you do that once when you start with the synth, and then you can play all these presets, and they are adjusted to your specific setup.
Love that. That sounds amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just you. This is you fixing a headache that existed there. We should get you to implement that everywhere, I believe. I'll lead the charge. All right, well, listen, we're going to pretty much wrap it up here. I'm going to give everybody one last opportunity to enter into the giveaway. We're going to be giving away 3 copies of Myth to 3 lucky people today. While we're doing that, perhaps you want to let us know about the other devices that you have made.
I have made that granular, next level granular synthesizer Novum
Yep.
that I talked about before. Then I haven't
Got
prepared
Love.
it yet. I have Love, which is a very simple to use multi-effect, especially for all kind of soft textures, otherworldly textures, everything going into the direction of ambient music. You're absolutely going to love that thingy. There's another synthesizer called Cult, and this uses chaos theory, and it creates very dark, very rich synthesizer sounds. Again, all these plugins have a 90 days free trial. So there's absolutely no risk in going there and checking these out, and you may like them. Then you may consider to do more with it, or you may not like them. Then you haven't lost anything. So please consider giving it a look.
Love that. All right, the way we do this here on the stream, Peter, is I've been given a list of wonderful people who have been active in the chat today, asking good questions and being good people. I've got 10 names, and we're going to give away 3 copies of Myth. So if you could let me know your favorite number, three of your favorite numbers between 1 and 10, and those people will win.
314.
314, you said?
Yes.
Is that, what's that, pi?
Yes.
Okay. 314. All right. That's 3, that's 1, and that's 4. All right. The winners of Myth, courtesy of Dawesome, a.k.a. Peter, are Legal VST. Great name. We like those. Sound with Sentimental Touch, and Julian De Freitas. That's Legal VST, Sound with Sentimental Touch, and Julian De Freitas. You all get a copy of this incredible synth made by Peter that we just checked out here on the stream today. If your name was called, send an email to support@pluginboutique.com with your name, what you won, and a screenshot of you logged into your YouTube account so we can verify it's you. And we'll get you sorted with a copy of the synth. Peter, thanks so much for coming on the stream today, giving us a real proper deep dive into your brand new device. It is phenomenal. I think I can speak for everyone here on the stream. They've all been loving it. And they love you too. They all want to have a beer with you. They want to hang out, make some music, make some tunes, make some noise. And was that?
They can into my Discord. So there's a Discord called Dawesome Village. You can find it easily, or you can do it. You can find an invitation to the Discord on dawesomemusic.com.
I also put it I put it below this stream, the link that you sent
great.
me. So
Yeah.
if people want to go there to hang out and
Yes.
make some music, make some noise, and buy you a beer, I think that's the place to do it. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks again, Peter. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Joshua Casper for Plugin Boutique. Thanks to Connor for helping out on the stream. And we will see you hopefully at 10 p.m. today. Remember, we got another stream coming up 10 p.m. today right here on the channel. And if not that one, we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Have a great night.
Bye.
To the top, ragamuffin keeps striving in every way. International, what they call we international. When me ride palm rhythm in the move, but the rhythm and I come down crucial. And me ride palm rhythm and then we sit down steady. Body me on the place, I with the one Jamalski. international. We are the general. We sit up on the rhythm and open the mic incredible. I'm be right part of the move, but the rhythm I sit down steady. Every ragamuffin you do, I feel rock and follow me. Jump up on the rhythm, make we ride it right. We chat up on the mic and keep it international. Cause anytime we chop a mic, they call we give it a general. International. When me ride palm rhythm and I move with the rhythm and I come down crucial. And me ride palm rhythm and then we sit down steady. For the men on the place I with the one Jamal street.